Hi, and welcome to Fishy Plant Man's World, the land of the seven suns. Uh, that's just fun to say. Maybe next time I'll get it right. So, I did an ammonia test on that tank last time, and I didn't go any further because it had high ammonia and the cycle has started. That's what I needed to know. We'll wait for the ammonia to come down and we'll try a nitrite test. Hey, I got that right. um, you know, but I thought, well, since I did dig out, old as it may be, I did dig out the old testing kit. I thought this tank has technically never had a test. I did the cycle and everything without it, didn't test anything. Just kind of let it run for a month or so before getting fish. Everything worked out, but I don't recommend that for the new fish keeper. And even for me, really, I got away with it. But I thought, let's see how this is doing. I was sure it didn't have any ammonia or high levels of ammonia or nitrites because the fish are not stressed. Not stressed at all. As a matter of fact, I'm having troubles keeping them from the breeding behavior. I admit I haven't got up and looked for eggs. As all that really does is kind of startle them and possibly stop the behavior. But I think it's breeding behavior. Mostly because it's only in the morning and it subsides and then everybody gets along like the best of friends all day long. And it usually happens with a water change. So I thought, well, instead of introducing the tap water, which is pretty cold because I don't add any hot water, just the coldness that comes out of the cold side, whatever temperature that is. Um, maybe that was triggering these spawning events. So, I brought water from that tank. And last time, the temperature was more evenly matched because I don't know if you can really see it over there, but it's got a heater now. So the temperature's within like a degree, and it's got elevated ammonia. We know that because after the fact, I tested and the ammonia was rather high. I figured it would be. But I brought it over anyway, trying to reduce the heavenly conditions a little bit, add a little bit of stress to try to curb the spawning behavior. Well, it didn't work. I put the water in last night, and this morning I had spawning behavior. I don't know if I got any eggs, but the males were chasing the females. So I thought, well, okay, let's see how much damage that has done and where my nitrate levels are. Because the water changes are only what comes out through evaporation, watering of plants, and what the plants absorb. Well, turns out I was kind of bang on everything. I am relieved to know that the nitrates aren't sky high, but, and I should have left my gloves on there, they are laying there. But I took them off when I was more or less done. Everything will be fine. Don't worry about me. This is the nitrates. A little elevated. I don't have a chart here. I just go by how much the color changes. This is a little elevated, and I could think about water changes, but it's not elevated to the point that has stopped them from breeding behavior. So I'm not really going to stress too much. That's, 5 drops, and that's what I get. It's slightly orange, so, it's probably right around 40, maybe 60 parts per million, somewhere in there. Enough to do a water change, but as it hasn't discouraged breeding behavior, I'm not going to worry about it. Apparently neon tetras can handle it a little bit higher. So I'm doing this backwards. The nitrates are a little elevated. I don't really see a problem though, so I'm not going to worry. I'm just not going to worry. The test says it's a little elevated, but the fish don't seem to be complaining, so I'm not going to worry. And because we're going backwards, this is nitrite. And with the nitrite, that's what I want to see. It's nice and light, hasn't changed very much. That's a good reading for nitrite. Nitrite, if I said it wrong. I think I said nitrate, which nitrite. Nitrate was the first one. Now, because we're working backwards, now we come to ammonia. You seen the green color in the last video. That's a good reading for ammonia. The elevated gallon of water that went in here, I can kind of see it. In reality, I can see it ever so slightly. I would like it more the color that you're seeing in the video, because I'm not seeing the green in the video like I'm seeing in reality. But it's not bad. It's not the green we seen yesterday. That green you did see in the video. So yeah, we're pretty good. I do have a pH test, but I didn't set up for it. And by the time I thought maybe I should do that too, which I really probably should have, my gloves were already off. The gloves were already off. It sounds like I'm getting ready for a fight. But they were already off. So I thought, it really doesn't matter what the pH says. I'm going to ignore it anyway, because again, the fish aren't complaining. They're showing breeding behavior. And if they're showing breeding behaviors, that tells me they're perfectly happy and I don't need to make any major changes. Or even minor ones. So, those are the readings. Ideally, I should do a water change for nitrates, but I kind of want the stress to bring them out of spawning behavior. Breeding, spawning, I think I'm using it interchangeably. So, yeah. It is what it is. As long as they seem happy, and I don't think there's a much greater display of happiness than spawning behavior. So I'm really not going to worry about what the tests are telling me because of what the fish are telling me. So anyway, we'll do a quick look at the plants, and then I will end the video. Gotta end it sometime. Here's the lucky bamboo that is getting a chance in this tank before it goes over to the breeding tank, spawning tank, whichever. Not doing so hot, but it doesn't have any roots yet either. So it's probably pulling all of its energy and focusing it on the roots that are to come out soon, I hope. Here's the others. I'm not going to really talk about each one. That is the one that is doing something, so it gets a little bit. But the rest, I think I'll just kind of show them. That is the one that's going to be gifted down in the dirt. The lucky bamboo that's going to be gifted. And then these guys, they go up all the way to there. That one has got its roots down in the water. And you can kind of see on that second root back there, the second one that I put into the water, it has got a new growing tip. And this third one, I don't know if it's going to make it because right here, right there, well, right in that area where my finger is, it's got some dieback. So I think that even though the root in the water looks okay, it's going to end up dying back to at least that point. But if it develops a growing tip, I will stand corrected. And it looks like it might be getting ready to have a growing tip come out of there. You can't really see it too well because of the water agitation. But the other two have growing tips. So those apparently are doing just fine. Up here, I'm going to stay on this one a minute because it's doing things. We've got a new root. I decided it was a root. It is a root. It didn't turn into a flower spike. And then right beside it, we got yet another one coming up. And I suspect, mostly by location, it's probably going to be a root too. But hey, we're getting new roots. That's not a bad thing. Okay, it's not a flower spike, but it's, still not a bad thing. It's progress. The other two down there aren't really doing anything. The Christmas cactus is still trying to die. I think the water is just too rich. But then this one's growing. It is what it is. I can't get it to grow in dirt, but I can get it to grow in full water culture. So there's the others. The bloom spike is, it's got 5 open. This one's getting ready to open. Can't quite decide what the tip is going to do, but those last 2 are going to open. And then everybody will be open. Got blooms on both sides, so, I'll show you these 3. Try to get as close as I can before it blurs out. There they are. Okay. Yeah, the aloe's being left out, but you've seen an aloe plant before, haven't you? Okay. I'll talk to you next time.